President Trump's administration has plans to designate several cartels and criminal groups as foreign terrorist organizations. The New York Times reports 8 groups based out of Latin America are expected to be added to the list, though that list may not be finalized just yet. This comes after President Trump signed an executive order on his first day in office calling for a crackdown on major drug cartels. And these are some of the images coming in from ICE and Homeland Security of those arrests. The order did state the cartels, quote, constitute a national security threat beyond that posed by traditional organized crime, adding that the U.S. would, quote, ensure the total elimination of the group. President Trump has reportedly given Secretary of State Marco Rubio about 2 weeks to work with other cabinet members to compile the list. Trump has made the war on drugs a priority during his second term in office. I want to discuss all of this and the implications here, so let's bring in Nick Mauro, the CEO of LEAD, Law Enforcement Against Drugs and Violence. He is also a former New Jersey police officer and detective. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us today.
Hey, Josh, thank you very much for having me.
Of course. Well, first off, I do want to ask you, what does this designation, making these cartels, labeling them terrorist organizations, what exactly will that do?
Well, it gives the ability for harsher penalties, broader surveillance at the border, and use of military if needed to address this issue.
And it is an issue, of course, that President Trump has made a priority. He's been talking about it really since he started campaigning for his second term here. Do we have any idea which cartels are likely to make the list?
Well, I know the Sinaloa cartel and Jalisco New Generation cartel are the 2 most prominent right now and should be on the list. We have to remember, first of all, I'd like to applaud President Trump for his actions here. It's an issue that got out of hand. The southern border. I have a radio show, Battling Drugs, the lead guy, and I've been pushing for the last 2 years on the southern border, and we needed to address it. So it's really a big issue of focus. We need to focus on the southern border to stop what's coming into this country.
Any idea why something like this hasn't been done in the past? I know it's probably been discussed, but why is this the first time this is happening?
Well, you know, I have to say the DEA, I've known prior administrators with the DEA, and they're a great agency. And they do a great job. It's above them. You know, they have to focus on this. They need the support that they need to address these issues. And I think it's an administrative focus that is why it's so important for President Trump. He's got a good team. He's got the DEA, he's got the FBI, and a great military. And I think he's got the support. It just has to be an administrative focus. And I applaud President Trump for doing it. It's needed.
What sort of impact could this have on the crisis at the border? Again, it's an issue that has been discussed for months upon months, years upon years. What impact could designating the cartels as terrorist organizations possibly help with the border and the flow of drugs into the U.S.?
Well, I think the more pressure you can put on the cartels to stop what they're doing. They're very powerful organizations. They've infiltrated street gangs throughout the United States. And it's become a problem. And organizations like LEAD, you know, we can only do so much in preventing the usage of drugs when it has to be a dual-edged sword. It has to eliminate the supply and the demand.
How has the flow of fentanyl into the U.S. changed over the years? Are we still seeing kind of the same uptick?
Well, I think what you're seeing is Narcan saving many lives of people. And I think that's really a sad state of affairs, because I believe that fentanyl, as much as the DEA has done a great job in confiscating fentanyl throughout the country, there's still so much in here that can kill. And, you know, the DEA One Pill Can Kill initiative is very important. It really can. But we really need to address this on a more aggressive focus, and I'm glad this administration has taken the time to do it.
And I did want to ask you, just based on your expertise here, what is maybe one misconception that people have about the situation involving drugs and the cartels?
Well, I think the misconception is that it's curable. We need to address this aggressively. LEAD is pushing for evidence-based drug prevention education. For years, drug education in schools didn't have to be evidence-based. Now it has to be evidence-based, and we feel we have the best evidence-based K-12 program in the country. And that's why we're the fastest growing drug prevention program in the United States. But it also has to be addressed at the borders. It has to be, we're seeing infiltration from Canada. We have to remember China has a big play in this, and that has to be addressed also.
All right, Nick, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here. Anything else you want to add before I let you go?
No, just, really support this administration, support drug prevention, support LEAD. Go to leadrugs.org, leadrugs.org, and find out about how we can get services in your communities. We serve all 50 states, and we're proud to be the best out there.
All right. Thank you again for taking the time to join us this morning and help break it all down. We appreciate it.